So welcome everybody to Public Safety and Community Health Committee meeting for November 1st. Hard to believe it's November already, but it is. And I would ask for approval of the minutes, a motion to do so.
Move to approve the minutes for October.
Can I have a second? Anybody?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Nay. Right. Thanks. I did not get any asks for the consent agenda items to come off, so we're going to go right into Sergeant Sparing's report, K-9, and we're doing quarterly, so this is your quarter for the last quarter of the year, so take it away.
Thank you, and thanks for having me back. So the last time I think Lieutenant Reese was here was giving the last of July, so this will be August 1st through yesterday. We had 224 deployments, 72 people located. 2 of those were contacts. That brings our bite ratio to 2.7%. Year to date, we've had 11 contacts, and year to date bite ratio is 4.2%, so exceptionally low. Trace, just last night, K-9 Trace and Officer Buckman were on the north side of a residence while officers were knocking on the front door. The person inside had a Department of Corrections escape community custody warrant for domestic order violation, which makes that, obviously, if he's on DOC for that, it's a felony order violation. He attempted to escape through that north side second floor window. Officer Buckman shone his flashlight, and Officer Trace helped give announcements by barking, and that individual decided to surrender peacefully at the front door. So looking back through the deployments for this last quarter, we've had numerous incidents like that where I'm seeing K-9s on scene getting people to peacefully surrender, whether that's drive-by shooting, vehicle with 2 suspects inside, an occupied residential burglary, somebody who was also on escape community custody warrant for prior assaults on law enforcement. And that particular time when K-9 King was on scene, decided not to assault law enforcement. So we're having a lot of success. Again, the bite ratio being 2.7%, but 72. So that's with 2 contacts, 70 of those people captured, surrendered peacefully with no force whatsoever. So I think I will be back July 1 to give a year-end recap and the last quarter as well.
Questions for Sergeant Sparing? I have one question, and that is, it seems like these are up. In other words, you're being deployed more often.
You know, the deployment number is a little higher. The contact ratio is a lower. The 2 contacts that we had for this quarter were both on call-outs. Because of legislation on the 27th or 25th of July, it did limit the number of less lethal options we have. And right now, K-9 is one of the only less lethal options left that has an opportunity to apprehend somebody. So and in sharing those other 3 quickly anecdotal deployments and contact or captures, it's K-9 officers putting themselves in a situation to be beneficial. And that's really what it is. It's not, it's not anything else. These guys, I'm looking through this and it impresses me every single time when I see the handlers putting themselves in a position to be advantageous and effective, I guess, tweaking that outcome to be no force whatsoever rather than not being there. So that to me is the impressive part.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? We will see you in January. Appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Next, we have the Tesla Pilot Program presentation by Major McNabb and Rick Giddings. That's for 15 minutes. I don't see Major McNabb on here. Is somebody else going to give that presentation?
I think I'm going to give the presentation. This is Rick from Fleet. And
Hi, Chief, go ahead.
Okay, Chief Lundgren, you're here to answer any questions from the police perspective. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me share my screen here real quick. Okay, are you seeing the Tesla there?
No.
Oh, because I have to hit the share button. There we go.
There we go.
It's better? Okay.
Yep.
So, as most of you remember, in late 2020, the decision was made to purchase 2 Tesla Model Ys in order to comply with recently enacted state laws and city ordinances. Teslas arrived in March of 2021, but because the Model Y hadn't yet been widely used in law enforcement, commissioning parts such as push bumpers, lights, computer mounts, etc., were not yet available. From March through October, the vehicles were used on a very limited basis, just for training and kind of familiarizing officers with the vehicles. Parts arrived 2 weeks ago, and so the vehicles are currently being commissioned and should be ready for full service by next week. So this is a total cost of ownership comparison. Now, again, we haven't been using these as police vehicles, and so a lot of this is going to be some speculation. So just for our length of comparison, standard replacement target for police vehicles is 100,000 miles. So we are comparing the Tesla at the same. The automotive industry widely debates if and how much electric vehicles will outlast internal combustion engine vehicles. They do have significantly fewer moving parts, but the battery life is the big unknown. Because Tesla has a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and 8-year, 120,000-mile drivetrain and battery warranty, compared with the K8's 3-year, 36,000 basic, 5-year, 60,000-mile drivetrain, and 8-year, 100,000-mile hybrid battery warranty, we felt comfortable adding a comparison at 5 years and 120,000 miles for the Tesla. As you can see, purchase price, these are the most recent numbers, 2020, I believe. About $45,000 for the K8 internal combustion engine vehicle. Hybrid's about $4,500 more. And then the Tesla around $11,000 higher at $56,000. The commissioning, which is not included in these prices, is another unknown. We're working on how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost right now. But we think the prices should be similar once parts are widely available. Maintenance costs, we have a huge amount of information on K8 internal combustion engines. This is actually the maintenance average from several vehicles from 2017 that are about 4 years old. We don't have that same level of information on the hybrids since we've only been using them for about a year, but because they're a similar platform and have actually more moving parts, we feel like they're going to be pretty similar in maintenance costs. And then the hybrid, because electric vehicles have fewer moving parts, industry anticipates a substantial reduction in maintenance costs, somewhere between 30 and 60%. There's no oil changes, no fluid changes, no belts or hoses. The braking is regenerative, so the brakes last longer. However, because these are being used as police vehicles, we are forecasting maintenance to be on the high side of industry predictions. They're going to go through more tires, and the brakes are going to wear faster, and several other factors. Fuel costs, again, this is real-world fuel costs of what the K8 internal combustions have cost. They're rated at 16 miles per gallon. We are getting around 11 in real-world usage, just for a variety of usage factors, idle time, and several things. K8 hybrid is rated at 23 miles per gallon. We're averaging about 16, which is about a 30% reduction also. Tesla is rated at 125 miles per gallon electric, or equivalent. We're anticipating a similar reduction in economy. The Model Y is estimated to cost about 5 cents per mile average for fueling for electric. But because of usage factors that drain the charge, heating and cooling in the summer and the winter, lights being on, computer, and possible need for on-peak charging, we are estimating fuel costs to be higher than the industry thinks it will be. So as you can see on our total cost of ownership, total cost of ownership for the K8 internal combustion is $79,491, slightly less for the hybrid despite a higher purchase cost, just simply due to better fuel economy. And then even with the highest purchase cost, the Tesla cost per mile comes out the lowest because of much lower fuel and maintenance costs. And of course, the cost per mile will be lower yet if it makes it to 120,000 miles. So this is just a comparison, bar graph comparison. You can see in blue the capital costs, so 45 cents per mile, 50 cents a mile on the hybrid, 56 cents a mile on the Tesla at 100,000 miles, and 47 cents at 120,000 miles. Maintenance, 8 cents a mile for both of the K8s, and around 4 cents a mile we're estimating for the Tesla. And then the fuel, 27 cents on the internal combustion, 20 cents a mile on the K8 hybrid, and then we're estimating about 9 cents a mile for the Tesla. So as you can see from this, the Tesla is projected to be fairly financially viable. So this is a comparison, and so to be quite honest, we debated whether or not to leave this in, and the reason is because this is a very small sample based on extremely limited usage and vehicles being used not as police vehicles. But because we want to, in the end, we decided to leave it in so future versions of this report will have the same format. So these are employee evaluation scores. We sent out surveys to several using officers. It's very small sample of respondents reporting on a very limited usage. These scores reflect the impressions of the using officers. This will be much more accurate and useful in the future as the cars begin being used in patrol. So as you can see real quickly, steering and braking and suspension, all of the vehicles score right in the hunt there. Storage, Tesla's quite a bit smaller, no big surprise that it would score lower for storage. Reliability, again, the fact that we haven't been able to commission them and make them into police cars is probably a big factor in the lower score there. Safety, I don't exactly know why that score is lower, but we're going to monitor that as time goes on. And then comfort and ergonomics, again, not surprising. The vehicle's smaller, the seats aren't cut out for utility belts, and so there's some things related to comfort and ergonomics that we're going to be looking at. So again, overall officer experience, the hybrid, well-liked, well-trusted vehicle, and then the K8A, slightly less, Tesla behind them. So, and this is a spider chart, and this basically how this works. The center of this is a 0, the outside is a 10, and each of the scores for each of the categories goes in its appropriate place on the polygon, and it just really gives us a chance to envision how these vehicles shape up against each other. The blue line again is, of course, the hybrid, well-liked, well-respected vehicle, pretty well-rounded, well-liked in all the categories. K8A, the gray line, again, pretty close with a little bit of shortcoming in comfort, ergonomics, and reliability. And I have to stress, again, this is a very, very small sampling. And then the green line is the Tesla. Steering and braking, drivability really good, but falls a little flat in safety, comfort, ergonomics, reliability, storage. So again, we'll be watching this and monitoring how, once we start using them as police vehicles, we'll be monitoring how these shape up in the future. So to recap, Tesla seems like it will be economically viable. As we have seen from the limited officer reviews, it has some observed or perceived usability shortcomings that we will be monitoring. And so here is this is a risk register supplied by Dan Hayes, police's new fleet administrator, and this kind of chronicles some of the unknowns and potential pitfalls that we're going to be looking at going forward. First of which, cost of commissioning parts cost and availability for new technology is still uncertain, and there are still some parts that are unavailable. Once we've completed the commissioning on the first two, we will have a better idea of labor costs. Parts costs should be similar once parts become available. Collision damage, unplanned maintenance, widely accepted that that collision repair is much more expensive for Teslas than other vehicles, and of course, police vehicles have much higher rate of accident damage. Teslas have to go to specialty certified shops. The parts cost a little bit more. If the battery becomes damaged, the price was pretty high. We asked for a comparison from a certified collision repair vendor, and they're saying that chassis damage and structural damage is about twice as much for a Tesla as it is for other vehicles. Cosmetic repair is about 10% more. And then maintenance downtime. Again, maintenance downtime for these vehicles, like every other vehicle, is based on parts availability, and because they're Teslas, parts availability is heavily dependent on microchips. So that should be getting better in the next couple of years. Another unknown, will we be able to repair our vehicles ourselves? Will there be training available for our fleet personnel, or are these going to have to go to the dealer only? And then dealer repair wait times. Tesla is telling us that there's currently at least 90-day wait to have repairs done on the Teslas. Again, and it comes down to the fact that parts are going into new vehicles and they're not supplying the dealers. So no big surprise there, and not a lot different than what's going on in the rest of the automotive world. So charging time and location is another big question. How long will charging take? Can these vehicles be used as hot seat? Is there enough time between shifts to charge these vehicles up and replenish the miles that we used in that short window? We're going to be watching that. And then will the charging infrastructure be available where we need it without having to shuttle or add drive time to the equation? Again, these are questions that we're working on answering. And then infrastructure, police has quotes for electric vehicle service equipment, $33,000 for 4 chargers at the Gardner lot. We're looking into kind of models of how to fund this. Where does the charging come from, or where does the cost or the funding come from for charging infrastructure? There's going to be some charging out there that's department-based, and there's going to be some that are going to be multi-use fast chargers for multiple vehicles across the city. So we're looking at ways to make that work right now. Another issue is the county owns the public safety building where many of these vehicles park, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way to put charging infrastructure into a piece of property that we don't own. And just kind of a last thought, Frontier, our company that is working on our Green Fleet plan, will have their proposal to us here in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully as they come up with their plan, a lot of these questions will become clearer, and we'll be able to sort of have a direction going forward. So I tried to keep it in 15 minutes. That's the end of it. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions from Mr. Giddings? I can't see you also. Chime in.
I have a question on charging. Do you anticipate any of these to be take-home vehicles for officers? And if so, since the majority of officers do seem to take home vehicles, would we potentially need to have some kind of remote charging at their homes, or have you anticipated that?
I haven't. I'm not familiar with whether they be take-home vehicles or not. Chief Lundgren, do you have any insight on that?
In this testing phase, what we would like to do is to utilize them as a hot seat patrol vehicle to see if we can get that proper charge in between shifts. That's how we're using the majority of our patrol vehicles right now, and that is our most difficult assignment for vehicles. And once we get that information back, then we'll further evaluate how we're going to be able to utilize these best in the field.
Just to continue, could it be possible that, if Teslas weren't appropriate for patrol, they could be used by detectives or other officers, and then a different brand would be used by patrol?
That is certainly an option. And as we learn more about the Tesla models, the strengths and the weaknesses, and as more offerings become available, that's quite a possibility. Of course, I know that as is the case with our internal combustion engines, Fleet has always preferred that we have a primary vehicle that has they can share parts and can share the expertise of those folks that are taking care of those vehicles. So we wouldn't want to have, I wouldn't imagine, several different types of vehicle, but it is possible we would have maybe a couple of different vehicles for different purposes.
Any other
Thank you. And I
questions?
might just also add,
ahead.
if you're going to use, I did like the employee evaluation on safety, but I think one of the things that I heard council talk about was the appeal that overall Tesla had a great safety record that would be protection for officers too. I don't know if you want to include that as well, the national stats on different models.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, the Tesla is rated quite high, but we're talking about such a small sampling. I think a lot of that kind of low safety rating comes from the fact the vehicles are lower to the ground, and there is a little bit of when you step on the gas and let off the gas, the vehicle brakes, and it's a different feeling. And so since we've had such limited use, I think a lot of that is just the impression. They do, and the Tesla fires have been in the news, and so that might factor into it as well. But the Tesla is very highly rated for safety, low center of gravity, and so as we start to use them, I think we'll have better data on that.
I could just add real quick to that too. I think there's two types of safety that we're probably may need to bifurcate. There's the safety if it's involved in a collision, but then there's the safety of getting in and out of the vehicle. I think Rick hit the nail on the head. The little bit I'm hearing is it is a smaller seat, and we throw on the duty belt. Getting in and out is very challenging. We have that same issue with our Ford Interceptor cars. We had officers getting a lot of tweaked backs because the seats are very narrow, and you have to step down into it and then step out and then up as well. My sense is the safety issues are going to have to do with more of the interior dynamics, not the crash ratings.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, just wondering, has there been any additional look at other electric vehicles to see how these compare and whether or not just a different brand would meet our needs more so than the Tesla? I know that was one of my concerns early on was, basically investing in a brand that may not be the exact right one that we want to use.
Yeah, so the only thing that comes close right now that is even remotely available in the market is the Mustang Mach-E, very similar in size to the Tesla Model Y. They don't have quite the fuel economy. The price is a little bit lower. They would be viable as well. I think what we're hoping for is that Ford or another manufacturer is going to come up with a ready-made police vehicle. Such as the K8 in full electric, they went hybrid, and so that would be a good situation if that were to happen. But yes, we're keeping our eyes open for other vehicles that come on as they come on, and it's changing very, very fast right now.
Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Giddings, thanks very much. That was a good report, and I appreciate you adhering to the time. Thank you. Next up is ammunition order. Ms. McConnell, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. Essentially, this is just for us to purchase ammunition for 2022. It's for our duty ammunition and practice ammunition. Unfortunately, prices are increasing on ammunition, so the request is for $175,000, and that would be for both duty and practice ammunition. Both. The bid was awarded to San Diego Police Equipment and Dooley Enterprises. So this is just to go ahead and purchase 2022 ammunition, keeping in mind that unfortunately our ammunition orders are also taking a very long time to receive once we put the order in. So that's why we were hoping just to get a jump on this and get our order in as soon as we could.
Questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you, Jackie. So of this order, training and frontline, like what percentage of this order is for training? Is it 50%, 70%? I'm just trying to get a balance of really what's used out in the field versus what the training process is.
Yeah, I don't know the exact percentage. I can get that to you and follow up with you. but the majority of this is going to be for practice ammunition, right? So duty ammunition, we don't actually shoot that often per se, but we need to provide the duty ammunition, and every few years we actually shoot the duty ammunition so that we can replace it. So the majority of this is going to be for practice ammunition. Just let me know if you'd like me to follow up and get you those percentages, council member.
Questions, anybody else? Okay, I will tell you, I had a question that was answered, and I'm going to ask it again so everyone can hear the answer. My question was, is it possible to use blanks for practice? And Chief Meidel said no. Jackie's shaking her head, so can you tell us why?
Because we need to actually practice putting the rounds downrange. We have a target downrange. We practice at different distances from the target, and it's very important to have that actually evaluation, because we actually evaluate the officers when we do practice and also when we shoot for qualifications. So we have to have the actual rounds on the target to evaluate. That doesn't mean that officers can't practice with ammunition. There's something called dry fire, where we can take an unloaded weapon and dry fire it, which is great for practice. However, it is very important to actually put rounds downrange and hit a target so that we can evaluate where those rounds are actually hitting.
Super. Okay, anybody else? No, nothing. Okay, Ms. McConnell, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Next up is the SBO, Interlocal Joint Use Agreement with Spokane Court. Mr. Delaney, you want to go ahead?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is basically kind of an annual event. Based on the way we are invoiced for the Interlocal Joint Use Agreement, which is usually 10 to 13 months in arrears, Budget has the unenviable position of trying to project the costs associated with that space from a nearly 2-year-old invoice. As with other years, the current 2021 budget was projected using invoices probably from 2018 or 19, and given the rate at which our space is increasing, that would be double digits, between court and probation, there were short nearly $70,000 in that projection. I have noted it for 2022 for budget, and they're working on a way to hopefully be more clear in that projection so we aren't faced with the same problem in 2022 as we have been in literally every year since I've been with the court. And it's just a function of the interlocal and the fact it's billed so far in arrears. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Delaney? Okay, it looks like you got off light this time, Howard.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And I have another commitment, so if I may be excused, it would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Council requests were Councilmember Mumm, Fire Station Study, SBO. Do you want to go ahead and start this?
Sure. We had a great on-site meeting with Johnny Perkins and Chief Schaefer and a couple more fire employees and Brian McClatchy and some neighborhood folks. And I think there maybe have been one or two other folks who were there. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick progress report. We are moving forward with sharing some RFP information with staff members and commissioners at Fire District 9. What we're talking about is an interlocal agreement with potentially Fire District 9 to provide shared services on top of the 5 Mile, sort of like an Eagle's Nest approach that would be able to have quicker response down all sides of 5 Mile, so into Indian Trail, down into Balboa South Indian Trail, north to potentially the Fairwood area, and then also down into the Lidgerwood area on the east side. And this model has been done in the state of Washington and Oregon. The one that was brought forward recently is the one in Gresham. And Gresham and the city of Portland do this, and they do cost sharing. And Gresham provides, the smaller district provides 1/3 of the staff and some of the maintenance funding for the building. So it's a great way to save money for both fire districts and have a great cooperative venture. We talked about it last year. We thought it was in our budget for the RFP. We have dug deep. Even though the council passed it in their budget, it did not end up as a line item in the final budget at the end of the year. No one knows why. So I just thought I'd give you a quick update on that. We may need to bring forward an SBO, so that's why I'm just mentioning it to you now. But I think Chief Schaefer is on, and you may have been able to find some other funding, so we may not have to bring something forward to council, but I wanted to give you an update. Chief Schaefer?
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add. I think Mr. Perkins may, in relationship to the budget.
Yeah, we thank you. First of all, Councilmember Mom, thank you so much for not only the tour of that particular location, but the 3.5, 4 hours that you spent with Stephen McDonald and I the following day to give us a great feel for the city and the economic development. So thank you for that. We will be back with the SBO and further discussion as it relates to this item at previous meeting as not too distant future.
Any questions for Councilmember? Go ahead, Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just wondering what the reason for just looking at kind of one neighborhood and not maybe more of the fringes of the city. I know Eagle Ridge has some big issues, and there may be some others, and so I think it would make sense to just look more holistically and figure out where we need the additional service.
I can jump in on that. So Eagle Ridge did have the same situation. However, as you may remember, we did create a fire station there. And this is a little bit different model. This does sit at the edge of two districts and straddles them. And this wouldn't just be a mutual aid agreement. This would actually be co-staffing potentially. And also sharing in costs. Which is a little different model that we've used before. We've actually had to write checks to District 9, like during annexations and that sort of thing. So I think it's really the new version of cooperation. I think it's a pilot. The other reason, Councilmember Cathcart, is this is the worst fire response overall in the city. And while the Latah area did have a lower response time with the addition of the fire station, I believe that's been improved. So it really accomplishes a couple of goals.
Any other questions for Councilmember or for Chief Schaefer? Go ahead, Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you. So I'm a little confused because the last time I thought we were looking at a request for overtime studies about the budgeting around fire, and now we're looking at potential partnerships. So is there a connection to that in any way, or just two separate totally issues? One doesn't play into the other.
I don't believe so. This is more of an operational issue and a way to save money by consolidating governmental services. The overtime issue, I believe, has a lot to do with COVID, staffing issues, and how shifts work, which I think has to do with the whole internal system of the City of Spokane Fire Department. Also a good issue.
Go ahead, Councilmember Stratton.
Councilmember Mum, I was just going to ask, it might be good information to have if we could look at what those response times were for folks to kind of get a better idea of
You bet.
the need.
I'm happy to share that. As you may recall, because I think you went to a couple of the meetings, Councilmember Stratton, the neighborhood did a request for public information. And some of those response times were well over 10 minutes. There was a variety because District 9 does respond for the city. And it looks like, at least in this area, the majority of the time when there's crossover, the District 9 is providing more service perhaps than the city because it's 13s on Wellesley that serves the area. And when there's bad weather, it's a 400-foot climb up. Sometimes they can't get up as fast. So anyway, I'm happy to share that. I think I have hard copy, not digital, but I'll see if I can get that from the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Alrighty. That is the end of our agenda. It is 1:51. We finished in record time. Is there anything else for the good of the order that anyone would like to add? Right. We will see you next in December, and I don't even know which, next meeting, December 6th. So 3:30, we'll see you all at briefing. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you then. Thanks very much. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks for using WebEx.